Hello everybody, hey love lovers, this is an investigation into the case of Mike Stallman. He was a Marine who had volunteered to join the team in Iraq. He was born in America, he's an American, and he was at the base in Iraq, right? And he had been involved in a situation where there was a gun shooting, and there were a lot of controversies which are still ongoing because the government had said that it was a self-inflicted harm, whereas his wife Kim Stallman is adamant that it was actually a homicide case. And we want to look at this case from an astrological point of view, and due to the legalities, this is all speculation, this is all alleged, and we are looking at it from an astrological point of view without the need or desire to influence any legal proceeding regarding this case. And as I said, everything is alleged, and it is definitely for research purposes only, right? Mike Stallman was born in America. As I said, he was born on the 7th of November 1962, and he had achieved a whole lot of things in his lifetime. He had a law degree, he was, a high-ranking Marine, he was a pilot, so he basically was an all-round achiever and a leader, not only in his job, but also in his home life, whereby he had 2 children with his wife, Kim Stallman. And Kim continues to probe into this case with a firm and a stern belief that her husband was ambushed. Now, because I do not have his time of birth and I don't have enough details to do a rectification in terms of time, I will only be using the planetary alignment without the ascendant. Now, because he was born in 1962 on the 7th of November and he passed on the 5th of October 2008, on the day there were a whole lot of hard transit on his personal planets. Now, looking at this chart, we can see a lot of hard placements being attached to his personal planets such as Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus. But what is evident here, it is that Libra sign, because here we have his natal Mercury, natal Neptune, natal Sun, and natal Venus. They were all conjunct with a transiting Mars and Venus, which immediately tells us that there was a conflict relating to relationships. So whatever triggered this event, it was born out of strained relationships. Now, because this case is involving 2 sides, whereby the government is adamant that it was self-inflicted harm due to his failing marriage and failing relationship with his wife, this also becomes credible in terms of the astrology, because we have Venus conjunct in this situation and we have Mars. Mars is strife, Mars is trouble, Mars is cutting bloodshed, and it is happening in Libra, in the sign of relationships themselves. Now remember, it is also being attached to his natal Venus, which is about spouse, all about spouse. Because there's also Mercury here, it is also about communication that would have been under pressure, giving hopelessness due to the Neptune that is also involved here. And because of his Sun, this is his core identity, his soul, it would have been feeling crushed at this time, feeling unworthy, feeling some sort of overwhelming pressure right on his core identity due to the transit of Mars in Libra. Remember, Mars in Libra is agitated. It is not at its comforting placement. It is highly agitated, and there would have been a lot of self-questioning as well. But what is now relevant and which would take us away from the idea that it would have been about his spouse, it is due to the Virgo sign. As we can see here, there is his natal Lilith, which on this day, it was conjunct with the transiting Sun and transiting Mercury. Now, what is telling me is that he had discovered some information, or he had information that was restricted, that was taboo, that was controversial, and that was a secret, and he had this information and he wanted to reveal it, or he was about to reveal it, because the Sun here is about revealing what is known or what is touched by the Sun, and being touched with the Lilith in Virgo. Lilith in Virgo is about rebelling against the systems of the workplace, because Virgo is about the workplace. So whatever is the norm or has been accepted as the norm, controversial, then the Lilith here will want to rebel against that system. However, in Virgo, it is also talking about corruption. It is talking about the corrupted systems of the workplace. Now, with the transiting Sun and Mercury here, he had this information and he was ready to reveal it, which had also agitated some people around the workplace, or would have agitated or would have attracted controversy, attracted criticism, because remember, Virgo is about criticism. So there was a lot of criticism, like being overly critical of these systems, which would have led to the strain in relationships with the colleagues or with the people close to him, as well as the authority figures, because Sun is about authority. Now, another critical indication is that his natal Mars is making a fourth aspect to the transiting Mars, which tells me that there was sacrifice that was done. He was sacrificed at this time, because this is involving relationships from the Libra sign, but also the emotional destabilization from the Cancer sign. Now, another indication that I would look for a self-inflicted harm would be a trine between the transiting Mars and the natal Mars. However, I do have this square indicating and highly indicating an external force, an external ambush to his body, to his core. Now, looking at the Aquarius sign, we do have the transiting Uranus, which is conjunct with his moon, natal moon. That is your emotions, that is your mindset, which obviously with Uranus would show a sudden, unexpected event coming from an external party or external force harming his mind, because he was having the gun wound on his body, on his head, and at the same time conjunct with Chiron. And as we know, Chiron is about wounding, the wounding coming from an external point of view. Now, what is critical here is the Jupiter. Now, Jupiter in Aquarius is about the society externalizing the energy, right? Again, looking at the external force, which would have been expanded by the Jupiter in Aquarius. Now, moving forward to the Sagittarius sign, we do have the transit of Jupiter, Pluto, and Moon all together. Moon and Pluto together, we're going to have an explosion of our explosions of our emotions being externalized in a transformative manner and in a forceful manner. And this is how obviously his mind was affected here, and it does show also a need for escape or being forced to escape because of the Pluto enforcing change, enforcing a transformative change, which with the Jupiter here, it is through a release to another exploration or to another form of life, in terms of their sign. Now, getting closer to the Leo sign, we do have the transiting Saturn, and it is conjunct with his natal Uranus and Pluto. Again, another sudden event, another sudden forced event, karma through Saturn in Leo. But it is also about work, because Saturn is about profession and work. Leo is about authority, showing or proving what I had already seen with the Virgo sign, that this was about authority and challenging the structure of the workplace, or challenging the authorities within the workplace, and which then gained criticism, and which obviously came through a sudden force, an external force, or actions that were acting against him or that worked against him. Now, getting closer to that sun in Virgo, because this is where it gets critical, because this event happened at the workplace. We do see, or we can expect, that there was a rebellion as well. As I said, it's with the Lilith, so he would have wanted to rebel, or people would have been rebelling against him, against his own authority. So it could have been, either way, him against other people's authority, or the person against his own authority, which would have led him to being isolated from, the work environment. Now, here, what we can also see is that the person threatened by his authority or by his information, or discovering certain information, would have seen that there is no way out due to the Neptune covering that sun in the Libra sign. So this person would have wanted an escape route, because at this point the relationships would have been blurred, the lines would have been blurred, and it does show, because it's about relationships, it does show that this is a close person who would have known him in a close relationship, like in a close, intimate relationship. So this is somebody that he knew. It's not somebody who is a stranger. It is somebody that he would have spoken to, maybe, very, very intimately with or close with. And there is definitely a scandal included here around the workplace, information that was going to be revealed, right, and which could have led to this unfortunate event. Now, because of the Mercury also in Virgo, there was a need for perfection here. So he would have desired that there is perfection around the workplace, maybe wanting, or challenging those structures to perfect the place, to make it correct, to make things move in a correct manner in how they're supposed to be. Thus, then coming with this scattered energy due to other people and the Lilith that is here, right? So the person who would have done this would have acted in a way whereby they felt that they needed to defend themselves for being outed, for being told, their stories being told, their secrets being told, and then it happened with a very decisive manner, because Virgo is decisive. Virgo is about planning. So this event was well planned, even though it was sudden, but it was well planned as well, because the Mercury, it is transiting in Virgo of planning and deciding effectively. Now, because of the two contradictory perspective, one saying it was a self-harm, the other one saying it was a homicide, from the astrological point of view, it is highly indicated that this was a homicide case and not a self-inflicted, due to the missing elements that would support a self-inflicted harm here. There is a high energy of external ambush, external involvement, external interference, which is indicated by the Uranus conjunct Moon, which is also indicated by the transit of Moon conjunct the transit of Pluto and the Jupiter. So all of these, again, also Saturn being with Uranus and Pluto, all of these are external planets, externalized planets, which are highly indicating an external force that contributed into his passing. So that is a astrological analysis from my side, and everything again is speculation, because this is a legal matter and it is only for research purposes and should not and cannot be used in any legal form going forward. It is definitely only for research purposes. My name is Mita. This is Mita speaking, and I am signing out. I'll chat to you soon, and be into it. Ciao.